We are just about out of Quebec City. We're in a small apartment in the old section of city. Really pretty cool place. Had a lot of room for us to just kind of live for a bit. These chairs were completely terrible. We are on our second leg of the three-legged trip on our way from Quebec City to Montreal. It feels good to get back on the bike. The rest days off were definitely necessary. Maybe kind of the 4 days off were a little bit too much, but the rest days were good. If we took about 2 days, I would certainly do that again. Feel like going to the beach? Look at that, right here along the St. Lawrence. And now for a little light entertainment. Well, gotta walk this one. Check out the view. This is what our view has been like for the last I don't know, 8-9 miles or so, maybe 10 miles, and we're gonna have 40 more miles of this. It's quiet, it smells great. I'm glad we're able to check this one off the bucket list. All right, we've got a little rest stop here. Cass bike's getting a little bit of a charge. Mine's just resting here. I'm gonna recharge with some food, and then we're gonna head on down the trail for stop 2, Le Cow Noir. Bonjour. Allez, 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 allez. After a little ice cream break, we are back on the trail. We're passing by some agricultural farms. I think it's a dairy farm. Holstein cows. You can see the silos of the Holstein farm. Holstein being the cow farm. And the Holstein cows is where whole milk comes from, because if they did 2%, they'd be half-stein cows. I don't need to use the restroom, but I did want to go inside the caboose. Mission accomplished. End of a long day. And then we got a puncture. I found out I didn't have a pump, so luckily the trails, they call them sentiers, the Sentier Trans-Canadien, the Trans-Canadian Trail had these stations that had pumps, so we backtracked about 3/4 or a mile to get to the pump. And then after we checked into the hotel, I found an open bike shop that had a pump for sale. So I now have a pump, so that's good news. Hello adventurists, Paul and Kathy here, and we are out. The breakfast was pretty good, although it was packed at 7 a.m. We've got a 58 or so day today. We're heading through Victoriaville. This is a cute little town. We didn't get down here last night. We were about 2 miles away in our hotel. We went to the hotel restaurant and it was just service was slow. People were quiet, just very zombie-like. So we said, let's get out of here. And then we found a casse-croûte. It was like a snack place. And we got some hamburgers and French fries, which were pretty darn good. About every 2 to 3 miles on this section of the Trans-Canadian going from the outskirts of Quebec City to about Richmond, they have what's called these halt velos. It's a bike rest stop, and they'll have a picnic table at the very least. Sometimes they'll have restrooms, sometimes they'll have water, sometimes they'll have a historic train depot like here. Okay, we're going through a gate with an arch. Not really sure why they had the arch. Maybe it's to prevent tall bikers from going through. Well, here is a quintessential e-bike touring lunch stop. We are at the side of an Esso gas station. We found a plug. We're touring Kath's bike. She wanted the air-conditioned inside the subway. So I'm out here pulling the duty, watching the bike and making sure everything that we brought here stays here. We're leaving Richmond, crossing over Rivière Sainte-Françoise, and looks like if that's going to turn into rain out there, that's going to be maybe a little north of where we are, so hopefully we'll luck out. Not a bad view on a Saturday or any day of the week. We deserve this. That sign indicates we've made our destination. Today was
not easy.
Today was not easy, to put it blindly. Yesterday I think was tougher, but today was certainly had its challenges. We went through 2 bottles of water plus another 2 liters before 11 a.m. So it was really humid and hot this morning, and we went through a lot of water. We stopped for about 2 hours, gave Kath's bike recharge, roughly, I don't know, we got about 60%, and then we headed out. We crossed a barred route. It was a detour. We went down about a mile to where the construction was, but it being a Saturday, nobody was there. So I'm approaching, I'm looking at the loaders and the construction equipment. Nothing's moving. Nobody's in the construction equipment. The only thing there was a generator keeping the water out of the stream. That thing went, and no, that was the only thing running. So we decided to just chance it, cross, got on the other side, rode about another mile before the detour was. So we saved a bunch of time. Sunday morning, heading out of Acton Vale towards Belle-Isle. I probably mispronounced that, as is normal. Originally we were going to be heading to Montreal, but Change of plans. Got my check-in notification from the apartment through Airbnb we were going to stay at. The rules on the apartment, and in the no smoking, no pets, no loud parties, no bikes on premises ever at all, which was not in their listing. I contacted them and said, hey, I'm touring by bike, as I mentioned. I'm concerned that if we can't take the bikes in, is there a place to store them? Their response was basically, yeah, we understand you have a concern with this, but bikes aren't allowed as per policy. I'm like, okay, well, is there a secure underground parking facility? Is it private? If I lock it up there, I can't just lock, you know, $6,000 worth of bikes on the street in a major city. And the response was, oh, we don't manage the parking garage. You'll have to call them to see if that's something you can do. So I canceled the reservation, which now takes away our Montreal days, and we're just kind of heading back to the car. We are heading into the wind again. We're kind of doing a grid. We're going left, straight, and keep hitting the headwind. So when we do, Kath's electric bike has 3 power settings: Eco, Sport, and Turbo, which she calls power level 1, 2, and 3. So our ongoing joke is, she said, oh, that was so difficult, I had to put it in power level 3. And I respond, yeah, I just kept it in 0. That? That's rain, and it's coming from the direction where the wind's coming from, so it's gonna be coming this way. The cycling infrastructure here is really nice. Like, we'll just be in a small town and half of the roadway is just taken up with the bike lane, you know, with a raised curb and everything. Earlier this morning, that was occluded by the rain showers. You couldn't even see it. So I think we dodged the rain, at least for this part of the day. We finished dinner. We still have about 3/4 of a mile walk back to the hotel. Normally I bring 1 tube as a spare in case something happens, and then I'll pick up another one along the way. This trip I brought 2 TPU tubes, the thermoplastic ones, highly puncture resistant, except when it's in Kath's back tire. Well, we never stopped at a Tim Hortons, so you might say we didn't get the true Canadian experience. But we did have poutine, which was invented in Canada. You know how I know that? Because if it was invented in Russia, it would be Vladimir poutine. Well, this looks like it. Up and over the bridge. We're starting to route. That was a little bit of a climb. There's our destination. Up and over that bridge. So it's going to be a heck of a ride. Did that
one one-handed. I was kind of amazed I actually did it. There's the bridge that we're going over. And there is the city of Montreal.
Well, what would it be like in Montreal if I didn't give you a tour of Montreal? But since we're in the bus station, we're going to limit the tour solely to the bus station. The cafe, the gates, the machine with prizes, construction, les toilettes, and the front door. Thank you for joining me on the tour of Montreal. We are out of the Ottawa train station. Took us maybe about 40 minutes to get the bikes off, reassemble them, take care of using the facilities, and then filling up some of the water bottles. So we are on our way. Well, the bus took us to Ottawa train station, and now we have to get from Ottawa train station to the Fairfield Inn by the Ottawa airport.